I've been working that slave shift, man. I feel Kanye on that one. I've been working the gray shift. I've been working the slave shift. I ain't made shit.
I mean, you picked the song, so you this is like, so.
You know, can I just say, I say that it's a bit, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a
I
bit
feel like
Poop Week based on Antonio Brown Poop Week. That was a bit.
This week close to home. This was close.
Right,
to home.
and we're not gonna go. We're gonna stop. Hard stop right there, and just leave it there.
We could expose people. Listen.
You know what? Let's do it, because you know what? Last week's free therapy, like you said, is it worth the risk? So let's go ahead. Let's do it.
If you want, this is you. Listen. This is your. Can I say it, employer?
We're gonna go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and say this. Okay.
All right. Not a lot of people know where you work, so
no.
You know what? It's fine.
I don't share that on social at all. I don't share that on anything. I only share these podcasts.
You got a vaccination like I did, and then put it on social. Everybody thinks you're non-vaccinated, by the way. So.
Right. How dare I not put it on social?
You.
Yeah.
How dare
sorry,
you? Are you even vaccinated? I'm sorry, I didn't put it on Instagram. That was actually on the paperwork saying you have to put it on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or all three.
Right, it was required by law that it must be an Instagram post.
Because
right?
If it's not on Instagram, how would anybody know if you worked out, got nice food, vaccinated, had an event? You never know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, how could we know?
How dare you?
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry, that was a
HIPAA violation,
that
right?
was a little rant on my part, but continue.
Well, it's second by me, by far. But anywho, with that being said, talking about more exposing here, is, you know, I'm not going to say any names quite yet, dude. It's something that, you know, I'm preheating the oven.
It's fresh.
Yeah, I'm preheating the oven. I'm pretty sure it's going to go ahead and go in there. You know, I got the ingredients. I'm ready to do it. I'm debating whether I should just put in the frozen pizza or if I should put in the new meal. I'm pretty sure I'm putting in the new meal. And we'll just say this. If I find further cases of what I have had to go through, it certainly will be exposed. And it will be exposed loud, and it will be exposed in a very, very boisterous way and very, very expressive manner that I think will blow up, at least for locals, for some of you, somewhere that you have been an active participant of in the past. So we'll leave it at that. I think I made it as discreet as I possibly could there, right? I said something that some of you may have been an active participant of in the past, and we'll leave it at that. But there's definitely some things that are not right, that are seemingly very sketchy, that I have currently had to interact with. And I'm trying to think, I'm back on previous podcasts. If we've said anything, I'm pretty sure we haven't, so I'm good for now. But we're going to leave it at that. That I believe there may be some riddle rattle, some pyramid scheming, some come join the Church of Scientology-ness going on.
Jeez.
And we'll see.
Well, I'm going to leave people with this too. There's a quote out there by a very famous poet.
Also, clearly very slow football week. We are face of the franchise. I am Little Joe. Ooh! And that is always my captain, my co-captain, of course, co-captain. He's like, actually calling me fucking captain? No, co-captain.
No, I'm looking at you like I was about to say something. And then
Michael Farah Anyway, go ahead and say something.
Oh,
I just want to get that out of the way. Clearly slow football week.
There is a famous quote.
Yeah.
Maybe not that famous because I heard it one time, but a rapper said,
one time.
I said, you can fuck my bitch because I could leave her, but if you fuck with my money, then you're dead. So
yes,
that's it. That's all you need to. You could get a new bitch, but you fuck with my money. That's it. So for all you out there, just remember, money is always green, and I mean you got to make sure your money's right, but. Anyways,
right.
So yes, like Joe said,
and 563 to wipe ass is not bad.
Yes, this is one of the slowest weeks of football I've seen in a while. But I think it's because like training camps are starting back up. There's not really a lot of rumors. I mean, you have this Aaron Rodgers situation, but you know what?
You think it's time to talk fantasy?
I think it's time to talk fantasy because there's nothing to do. So, right. But thank you God for Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp gave us something to talk about.
Always giving us something to talk about, baby. By the way, greatest moment before we get into it of all time, since we have a slow week here. Lighten up that black and mild, cracking open his champagne on the Henny on air, baby. I live by that for probably a good 6 months.
I think
Where I get my black and mild and crack open my
We are a
head.
pro Shannon Sharp podcast.
100%.
Without a doubt.
Never doubt that.
Do I like LeBron James? No. Do I like his little antics with certain things? No. But him as an entertainer, great. I mean, like, he's doing things that not a lot of people would do. And on Fox, by the way, on FS1. So it's kind of funny. It's like you would expect some of the shit he does on, like, Barstool.
By the way, LeBron James, he said?
Yeah.
You said I'm not a fan of LeBron James?
Yeah.
We're talking about Shannon Sharp, aren't we?
Shannon Sharp is a huge LeBron James fan.
Oh, okay. I just wanted, hey, I only know
Are
him
you
by
kidding me?
the black and mild.
You don't know the black and mild and the Henny thing is because of LeBron James.
I just knew the moment.
Well, I just
it was
thought
3 years ago. There you go.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
he basically put his boy on blast, kind of, Julio Jones, saying like he doesn't want to play with no guy.
That was some uncle shit. He's good.
I mean,
That was some uncle shit.
listen, we'll get into how he got the information out in due time. But right now he called Julio. He asked like, "Hey, do you want to be in Atlanta?" He said, "Nah, I'm out of there."
Right.
He talked about the hoodie, about the Dallas Cowboys, because Skip is a huge Cowboys fan.
Right.
And he said,
That I do know.
in certain ways, he said,
Unfortunately.
"I want to win." So he basically said the Cowboys are out. Then Shannon's like, "Hey, by the way, you're on air." A lot of people think he was caught off guard. A lot of people think it was scripted. I'm on the scripted side.
100% that was scripted.
Scripted. Because here's the deal. Julio had no emotions when he said, "I want to win." He had no emotions by saying, "I'm going out of the ATL," which it's already been reported he requested a trade like a while back. And we all kind of saw this. It was either him or Matt Ryan. By drafting Kyle Pitts, the odd man out was Julio. Because like they had Calvin Ridley, they were going to have to pay him. They're going to have to pay Kyle Pitts if he's good enough down the road. Julio's 31 years old, has a massive contract. He wants to win now, so
The signs were there. He
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're going to give it one last ride with Matt Ryan. So I guess the conversation is geared to
Julio, as Antonio calls him, knows they're not winning with Matt.
yes, and he's like, "I'm out. I mean, I gave you all I got for how many years, and nothing's changing." So the odds came out on what teams. The top 3 teams.
Can I say something way back? Let's go back for a second.
Go for it.
On your comment of, well, it sounded scripted.
It sounds scripted like
you
shit.
know, I get into my telenovelas, which is now mostly on Netflix, is these Spanish soapy opera kind of deals, high production and usually decent acting. But you still do get your soapy guys from there from time to time, and I will tell you, Julio, you would be a great fit in one of those telenovelas. Because dude, it was like suffering through a really dramatic scene, and he's just going, yeah, my daughter did indeed kill my wife, who is her mother, and I also slept with my daughter's boyfriend. Yes, I just came out as gay, and that is a telenovela line that should be delivered with all the intensity and drama, but instead Julio goes ahead and essentially lays down the flattest lines that he could have possibly done. He was reading right from what Shannon sent him some notes, and he was reading from the note page.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, from what, like...
Good move by the publicist, good move by the agent.
At the beginning, I thought Shannon was dry snitching on his boy. I thought he set him up. It was a wiretap.
They probably paid Shannon to do that.
He was going to send it to Arthur Blank, and he's like, these motherfuckers, he wants to leave. So... I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's not a big story. I mean, like, this dude said he wanted to leave. That's it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers over here saying he wants to leave for how many weeks now? Fuck it. If the dude wants to leave, the dude wants to leave. And the Falcons could get a lot from him. Except, a lot of GMs believe that they won't get a first-round pick because of the contract and his age. But...
That's what we talked about last week. I also believe because of some of the preconceived notions of how he may be in the locker room now.
No. Listen.
I still think that.
That is a huge cap. I think Julio is a good teammate. He is not a diva. Like we talked about last.
I'm not saying he is, but I'm still saying how that reflects to other GMs and how that looks to other.
He just wants to get out of Atlanta. I mean, fucking Aaron Rodgers is doing the same thing. If we're gonna.
Aaron Rodgers didn't punch 3 teammates in the face last year.
Julio didn't do that.
He did.
Please Google that.
Okay. So there's the one that he had the fight with.
Michael Thomas. You're thinking of Michael Thomas.
Am I?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ,
Joey.
Cut that out.
No, we're keeping this. I want everybody to realize what just happened here. This is the guy who thinks he's always right in every argument.
I can admit, I was very... Okay.
That was Michael fucking Thomas.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Oh my God. Back
when
to
you
what I was
find out you're making $5.63 an hour, okay, you're going to make a mistake or two.
Exposed again. Get your money right. Second. So Julio, I know it's a good teammate, and it is not Michael Thomas.
I mean, he did have that. He did have a situation where he was. Didn't he have a situation with a teammate last year, where there was some kind of?
All right, I gotta do it because you're now saying things. And there goes my phone. You're now saying things, and I'm flustered.
I came here to throw you today, but I know Michael Thomas had the incidences now 100%. I misspoke there, but I swear there was an incident with Julio last year. I said last week on the podcast. You didn't correct
Julio,
me.
Jones, teammate, altercations.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What do we got, baby? Break our own down. Break your own down.
Nothing. I have nothing. Do you have anything?
I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on.
Here we go. Harry Douglas. Julio is the best teammate of all time.
Right. Okay. I misspoke.
There you go.
Everybody makes mistakes.
There you go. Put that on the highlight reel.
First broadcasting
Highlight
mistake,
reel.
journalism mistake of my
Highlight
career
reel.
in podcasting.
About like 10
What time?
minutes. That's a trailer. That's a trailer. So,
First time where I'll get featured on the trailer, it's me making a mistake.
second part of all this is where is Julio going? So, like I said, GMs believe that they won't get a first-round pick, but I feel like the teams that the sportsbook have the best odds, they will give a first-round pick. So who's the number one team? The Tennessee Titans. Why? A.J. Brown, big Julio Jones fan. That, a.k.a. the guy apparently idolized him when he was going through football, blah, blah, blah. Derrick Henry, boy since Alabama, cap space there. No one other than A.J. Brown I could name is catching the ball there.
Yeah.
So if they really wanted him, they could get him.
Filthy as hell.
Now,
I saw the workout video, like you said. I saw all that, so we'll see.
Guess who's the second best odds? They're division rivals, Indianapolis Colts. They have the biggest cap space for 3 years now. I feel like we've been saying it for 3 years. They have just a lot of money.
Yeah.
T.Y. is trash.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman is...
T.Y. is expired.
Michael Pittman, I don't know who the fuck
He's
he is.
expired, Brett.
Yeah. So outside of those two, and then you have these tight ends, Mo Alley Cox, Gigantor, fucking Trey Burton, and fucking Jack Doyle.
Yeah. Right.
You're not touching anyone. So if you put Julio Jones out there, maybe we don't know what Carson Wentz is. We'll see what Carson Wentz is. Is he still Carson Wentz from when he was an MVP candidate, or Carson Wentz behind a bad offensive line?
I think we've both already stated how we feel on this podcast.
But
and
the offensive line is better. He has a running game, and if Julio comes...
Carson, let's be real. Let's be honest here. Carson has shown us, and I just want to clarify this, and I know I said this a couple weeks back as well. This I'm not misremembering. He has shown us what he is, in my opinion, already. Well, you can argue that whatever, it was a system, you can argue this, that, and the third. He has shown us exactly what he is.
Well, Joseph, guess what? There's no more excuses. Awesome offensive line. If they get Julio, another weapon that he's never had in Philly. Running backs he's never had in Philly.
Fair. All that is
and the
fair.
coordinator who made him good.
We understand
head
all
coach.
that. We understand all that. I think if you can maybe get some inclusive weapons over there, maybe, but I just don't see it.
Don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised if he comes out good. But I'm saying don't be surprised if he comes out bad. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
It's kind of like, you know what? We'll give you this 1 year. Let's see how you do. Because guess what? This team...
Prove me wrong.
This
Darcy,
team
prove me wrong.
with Phil fucking Rivers went to the playoffs. If Carson Wentz can't do it, then God, get the fuck out. But... And then the third team, wild team, but this might have it might hinge on a quarterback that might leave, the Green Bay Packers. So, if Julio goes with Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, and Aaron Rodgers stays.
Speaking of no more excuses.
Aaron Rodgers can't open his fucking mouth. Aaron Rodgers, if he opens his mouth...
Well, he won't.
he's a baby back bitch.
Yeah.
If you get
Yeah,
Julio
you can't at that
Jones,
point. You can't at
you
that
are
point.
a baby, and you talk about getting traded and and they go get Julio Jones. You better put your fucking foot in your mouth and play some football.
You're a pretty princess, and I lose all respect for
Yes.
that. But I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
Then you're at a level that, when we were talking about diva wide receivers, there's going to be a category by himself called Aaron Rodgers is a pussy. Because, like, you now have... Devontae Adams was a second-round pick. Cool. He became one of the better wide receivers. Now you finally got a quote-unquote first-round wide receiver, Julio Jones. Robert Tonyan. Offensive line is good. Aaron Jones. Your defense is top 10. Shut the fuck up and play then after that. But you know what? That hinges on everything I just said. So, you, Joe, where do you think this son of a bitch is going, a.k.a. Julio Jones?
Well, my heart and my mind and everything that I want says, I scratch that. My heart, my body, my soul, my desires say it should be the Tennessee Titans. We know that I have a soft spot for this team. We know that I love Vrabels more than anybody, any other coach in the league, honestly.
Right.
I am a big, big Tennessee Titans, and I think, holy shit, once again, no excuses. I think the Colts, yeah, that is especially if they get Julio, why not? That is a decent system. I am, as I've said on this podcast before, not at all sold on Carson Wentz whatsoever. I think 5 years is enough at this point, right? It's been, this will be the 5th year. I think we've seen what we see in a quarterback in 4 years. Yes, I understand O-line. Yes, I understand. Never really had that great of weapons in a wide receiver core. Never really had a running back. You can say what you will about Miles Sanders, but they never even really played together, right?
Right.
So I don't want it to work there. I don't really want it to happen for Julio there because I think it's kind of like a disguised Atlanta with a really high-powered offense, a defense where, yes, don't get me wrong, a defense completely different situation in Atlanta. Don't get me wrong for a second there,
yes.
But at least in terms of the offensive situation, I think it is a little bit kind of like what you get there at Atlanta, and for me, it's just not going to work out that way, especially with the Carson at the helm. I just don't think it will. That is going to be a 500 team at best, even if Julio's on there. Finally, to the last team there. I mean, I could see that probably. That would just be like the Nets. That would almost be like the Nets for me this past season, right? That would be kind of like the Nets, James Harden, and it would be fucking exciting, and it would be, this is the Super Bowl team, convince me it's not, where everyone was thinking it's the Lakers, aka everyone was thinking it was the Chiefs, and then all of a sudden it changes, and now it's the fucking Packers.
Right.
That's exactly what it would be. I think Titans is, and you know what, I will even say in my mind, actually in my mind, in the business line of football, knowing it will probably end up being the Colts for some reason. I think it probably actually will be out of those 3 teams, but I want, with all my heart and soul, for it to be the Titans.
Well, I mean, if the Titans have him, right?
You saw the Derrick Henry video?
If the Titans have him, A.J. Brown, and Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill, who we believe is a good quarterback,
yeah.
Where do you put him? Let's play a game. Where do you put him?
He's got to be one.
And the Titans themselves, as a team.
Where do you put the Titans? I'm like, what do you put?
Well, how
are you
far
asking me?
I mean, everybody's going to be like, Super Bowl. But realistically, where do you put them?
Realistically, taking my Vrabel bias aside here, they are a top 5 team. Top 3? I'm not sure.
I think,
Mm-hmm.
if you want my honest opinion,
Yeah.
you put Julio on this team.
That's why we're here, baby.
Julio on this team.
Yeah.
That does nothing to me in the sense of
Really?
your defense is still pretty shoddy.
Hey, don't talk that way about my defense.
Let me just paint a picture, all right? And this is
how I feel about the defense.
Shout out to my boy Kay Libba. He's a huge Titans fan, and I just really he can talk about this sentiment with me.
Sure.
Okay.
By the way, I was gonna suggest a segment we start bringing our little deep, like our super deep dive fan friends on here.
Yes.
Because I got
some teams that we need to talk about with some real fans.
Right, because I would love to. I got a Washington football team name to be determined later date. Obviously, but this kid is different. I'm telling you, not even from this area, but different.
Yeah, we need
Richmond
somebody
area.
not from here.
Not from here, from the Richmond area. And then I'd love to have this guy on too.
He's a huge Titans fan. We got some Eagles fans we could talk to.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest Cowboys fan I ever met in my entire life.
I got one too as well.
Shit.
I mean, it'd be painful,
It
but
is
we can
shit.
have that
You can have
douchebag.
both of them on.
Looking forward to your wedding, Thomas Chapa. But God damn it, are you fucking annoying
It's
with
awful.
the Cowboys? Yeah.
It's awful. I got a fan for everything.
Yeah.
So, and the Falcons fan who just texted me
You
about
don't have a
Julio.
Jag. You don't have a deep Jags fan.
Oh, I do.
What is wrong?
I
He said, "Oh,
got Jags, Falcons, I got
Texans.
Saints,
You got a Texans guy? You got a Texans guy?
Dude, I got them all. Trust me. It's fucking the Texans guy is gonna kill himself. That's not an opinion.
Do you check on
I had to check on
Do
it.
you give him okay?
Because he's like, this is another topic we can go after the Julio.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson didn't show up to OTAs because he's still demanding a trade. We will talk about that after this. But
Yeah, please.
now the reason why I said the Julio,
Neither did Aaron Rodgers as well.
So let me back up. The reason why the Titans lost to the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl, the Chiefs did, and last year against Lamar.
This is deep dive guy Titans take, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, me and him's taking.
Okay.
It's because of their defense. Now they got Bud Dupree, who's an ex-Steeler.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's good.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what Bud Dupree is without T.J. Watt on the other side.
I agree with that.
Now, they let go of their corners. They brought in new corners. Caleb Farley is one of them from Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Has some back problems, has some stuff. At 18, it was a good pick. It was a good risk pick. Is he going to be good? That's remained to be seen. Another thing.
Sure.
On the other side, they got Jackrabbit, Jarius Jenkins, who could be good. He's a decent corner and all this stuff.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
But they lost Malcolm Brown, they lost Adoree Jackson, they lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, at that point, and then my boy, this is who I like the most on the defense, is Kevin Byard, who had a down year last year.
I love him.
If he comes back and becomes a top five safety Pro Bowler, he can be in the conversation with Buddha, Mika, Jamal
Our boys.
Adams.
This is a pro safety podcast as well.
Love that position.
Yes.
Don't get me started of the 2000s with Bob Sanders and Sean Taylor and Troy Bob.
This will be a 3-hour podcast.
I will come instantly. Second.
Bonus episode. New comes 5 times as we talk about 2 early 2000 safety Pro Bowlers.
I'm just saying.
Watch him jizz his pants in hour 2 when we talk about Sean Taylor.
Exactly. Now to your boy Vrabel. If Vrabel can make this defense better than what it is, then yes, I will put him up there with the Chiefs, the Bucks, whoever you want. But I still got to see the defense. Julio would be a good addition, but I mean,
you don't put them at top 5 with Julio. It's just for
it's
you.
top 5.
Okay.
But we're saying Super Bowl winners, not yet.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I have no debate or rebuttal on that fact
They're
whatsoever.
top 5 right now.
It's become increasingly hard, and I'd be curious what deep dive Titans fan has to say about this, and that's what we're totally going to refer to them, and we totally are going to talk about this after the show on how we can get them on segments. But besides that,
we should do it like Candy Camera, where we just call them randomly and see if they're available.
Can we try it for the first time at the end of the show?
Alright.
Watching, you're doing it right now?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, then at the end of the show, I want my Washington football team name to return. Literally, probably not fan. At least next week. Because he... well, for the NFC East. I'll bring him on for the NFC East segment. Okay, so we're getting that. So I have a question for him.
Alright, hold on.
Let him know he's live on air.
This is not a Shannon Sharp, I will.
Yeah, no, what's up?
Yo, so I'm recording Face of the Franchise right now. We're talking about Julio.
You're live
Jones.
on Face of the Franchise, buddy.
You're live, so I'm not Julioing you, and I'm not Shannon Sharp. If
okay.
You're live, so Little Joe has a question for you. Go ahead, Joe.
Sure.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well, buddy. We'd actually like to have you on a little bit more often, as I hear you're our deep dive Titans guy we can rely on here. And I don't know how often you listen to the show, but you probably, if you have, you know that I'm a big Vrabel's guy as well. And my big thing is it becoming, when people...
No,
Vrabel's guy.
He loves Vrabel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that big, awesome, yeah, good shit. So we got a fan here. So big, yeah, because you know I love him, and it has become increasingly hard as I do this show to explain the defense. And for where we're kind of forming at here, with the spots in that defense, it's hard even if they do get Julio, because it's one of the likely destination spots, that this is a top 3 Super Bowl contending team. We still got a top 5, but for you, what do you need to see from the defense and from Vrabel to kind of patch that defense up together to make you guys in that conversation?
Oh man, there's so much to dig into into with your question. So let's start with what happened once Vrabel took over the defense, right?
Sure.
Him and Dean Pease tried to instill a specific system, and it never actually made out to be what we wanted it to be. A lot of times Titans fans romanticize the Dean Pease defense, and you know, they look at last year and they say, oh, Dean Pease was gone, that was the issue. Well, no, not really. A guy like Rashaan Evans never really could tackle.
Right.
He's not great. He's quite overrated, honestly, and it wasn't a good draft pick.
Sure. Very fair. Very, very fair. Yeah.
I think the Titans' defense will be better this year is Vrabel finally blew up the team. Our secondary is completely different with the exception of Kevin Byard. We'll have the same linebackers, but our front four will look completely different with Bud Dupree.
Yep.
And I think if Caleb Farley plays, the defense will actually take some strides. All I want to see from the defense is them getting off the field on third down.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I remember watching that Steelers game. Unfortunately, Shanuti and I weren't together, but I remember watching the Steelers game, and the Steelers were in 3rd and 15 and converting easily. It was unbelievable.
It was embarrassing,
absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
Getting off the field on third downs is what I want to see from this defense, and I think we have the personnel to do it. We're going into more of a man coverage look rather than a zone scheme.
Thank God.
And I don't think we're going to see people 15 yards off coverage anymore. So I'm hoping that we get off the field on third downs.
Yeah, and then that was the thing, right, is that you guys were absolutely, because you guys would beat the shit out of it. You look like the defense that you're expected and supposed to be on paper last year for the first 2 downs. You nailed it. You're exactly correct. And then it was like we always like to joke on this podcast, me and Shanuti went ahead and popped on the field and played the secondary for you guys. And it was just like free pickings all day. So I'm with you. I'm hoping on the consistency there. I definitely think that certain things will be patched up. I'm hoping that Bud Dupree transfers well into this Titans defense as well.
Just keynote, I hope not. But
there are certain people that definitely are rooting against us here. Don't you worry, my friend. I'll keep up. And what? You didn't even ask. You didn't even tell me. What's your name?
My name is Kareem.
Kareem. All right, man. Well, nice to meet you, man. Is there anything before we let you go here? This is going to be a recurring segment, so do expect when we need our Titans deep dive, be ready to answer that call. But
I'll always be ready. Just let me know. I'll always be ready to answer the call.
you know I won't shame and sharp you, so I will always give you a heads
I
up.
love your podcast. Keep it up. Keep that shit up.
Thanks, boss. I'm just kidding about Bud. I want Bud to succeed no matter where he goes. Just
Oh yeah, I know.
just not against us when we play you. That's it.
Oh man, don't worry. We'll be together in Pittsburgh in December.
We will. 100% capacity next year for all the stadiums, so I'm in there.
Alright, take care, guys.
wait, before we let you go, anything you want the people to know about the Titans in general? Anything you want to get out there that we should know that's coming off the wire that maybe that we're not totally tapped in with the Titans should know?
I'm going to say watch Jeffrey Simmons this year.
Okay, I like that. I love that.
Watch Jeffrey Simmons. I could go a bunch of different directions, but that's the best one. Watch Jeffrey Simmons.
All right.
He will be a perennial Pro Bowler here.
Ooh. Yeah. Beautiful. I love it, Kareem. Thank you, man.
Oh man, it was great talking to you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kareem. I'll call you later, boss. Thanks, buddy.
Alright, bye.
Bye. So there you go, Kareem. My man, always coming in for the hot takes, but I mean, like.
And yet another improvised segment on Face of the Franchise that will become a regular segment.
We will always do it. I got a Bears guy, I got a Falcons guy. I'm gonna call them next week because I need the Falcons guy with this Julio stuff later, but I'll text him and let him know next week.
I'm totally gonna call hopefully my Washington football guy, teammate to be term later date will answer. He actually definitely will. I know him. He will answer, and we're gonna have his take here when we get to the NFC East preview segment.
So,
but
real quick. Deshaun Watson did not show up to OTAs, and the reason why is because he's still demanding a trade, which is kind of asinine to this point. But why would anyone do that? Like, my opinion is, like, the dude is just digging himself into a bigger hole. I don't think any team is going to take a risk on him because, number one, everything is still up in the air with the 22 cases. I don't know. Like, even with me, with Big Ben as my quarterback, I still wouldn't want Deshaun Watson to be there because I don't want none of that kind of like allegation still going, and he could miss some of the season. Like, it's kind of convoluted to talk about, and I know Joe's in the bathroom, but this right here is kind of I don't know who would pull the trigger on this. Like, what are the Texans actually wanting for Deshaun Watson? Like, what team actually wants to take on that responsibility of the 22 cases? I know he is Deshaun Watson. He is Deshaun Watson. And
right.
I'm saying it like, but what are you gaining? Like, if
with the fourth pick of the 20,
no,
doesn't do it
that
anymore.
Doesn't do it anymore because like
it goes right back in, right?
Here's the deal, like. Everybody knows that everybody has the jokes, haha, Ben, and the blah blah blah, and this and the third. But like, now put Deshaun Watson on it. Like, I mean, like Deshaun automatically brings shit to your team because we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's gonna play a full season next year, play football ever again. So what are you gonna give up for him? A 6th-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a 1st-round pick? Like, what does Deshaun think he's worth in this situation, and what do the Texans believe is going to happen? In my opinion, I think this is just a chicken game where Deshaun's going to lose because it's not like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is just fed up with the team. There's no allegations on him. And if Deshaun Watson didn't have any allegations, he would have been traded already. They had every opportunity to... They said, we were going to trade him on draft day. Nothing came out of it. I bet you there's $10 million that at least 10 teams would have called him and asked for their services.
Sure.
But now with these 22 allegations, there's nothing.
So, and it's kind of too... How would this opens up a larger conversation in a certain way? We won't have to dive into this deep at all, or this will be the rest of the show. But I will keep it pretty brief, and I want us to look back, and we talked about this a little bit before on the show, context of, there was a time, there's definitely a time when a lot of this was briefly mentioned in the news, and then under the wire, and next thing you know, this guy signed next year. There was a time. Then we went ahead and we had the Ray Rice situation that happened a couple of years back that started getting these things on more public statement. Then obviously we had the era that we live in now with Me Too is what it is and is present in our culture and has made such an impact it is. What is the context and what does this mean and how much more impactful, unfortunately, as it should have been just as impactful in 1982 as it is now in 2021, but that's unfortunately how things were back then. But with that being stated, this is almost so big, dude, and it's been kind of quiet now here for a little bit where it's like this guy in this day and age especially, he might be done. He's probably done.
But that's what I'm saying. There's nothing been said about the league office. There's nothing said about the Texans themselves. Like, the guy is working out, still preparing for a season that he thinks he's still playing. So it's kind of like...
Are they trying to pull the 1985 sweep it under the rug and pray? Because...
I mean, it's not a sweeping under the rug and pray if in the sense of, like, it's out there. You know, it's not a sweeping under the rug. It's kind of like...
Right.
Now, if I'm...
Do you understand what I'm saying, though?
Now,
from an image and marketing perspective.
Of course. Yeah. Now, if the Texans, by the grace of God, got a drunk GM calling them and saying, hey, this is let's say, fucking, like... who's a drunk GM that could fucking do it?
Jim Irsay.
Jim Irsay.
Jim Irsay, easiest one to do.
I say, okay, let's say Arthur Blank, because we're on the Falcons. We might as well shit on the Falcons more.
Sure, why not? Arthur Blank, also a perpetual alcoholic, yep.
So, gives away Matt Ryan and a first-round pick and some late-round picks for Deshaun Watson. If I'm the Texans, no matter how much I think of Matt Ryan, I'm pulling the trigger. Once I hear first or second round pick, I am pulling the trigger. Because Deshaun Watson, like I said, comes with so much uncertainty. It is almost to a level where I'm just like, what? Like, I got to figure this out. Like, either we're going to have to keep him and it's going to not, like, everything, all these allegations, dismissed. But 22 allegations, dude, I don't think 22 allegations are going
Wait, let me get this straight. Your advice is for Arthur Blank to drink himself hammered, so to the point of blackout to where it doesn't morally bother him anymore?
If the Texans GM is such a man of God, if the Texans GM is such a man of God, I am praying to the Lord.
Does get blackout hammered and girls don't matter.
I am praying
Come
to the
down
Lord.
to Atlanta.
I am praying to the Lord. Some people don't have fucking internet, and that people are like, Deshaun Watson, yeah, let's get it.
Atlanta's not in Florida though. To-deesh.
So there's that. There's your Deshaun Watson update of the week. Fuck that.
But I don't even know how we got there.
But
Rather, instead, let's go ahead and get to
NFC East.
the NFC East preview.
So this is probably going to be the most, outside the AFC North, this is probably going to be the most opinionated one.
Sure.
Because he's a Washington football team fan.
One of the most volatile, certainly.
But
Yeah.
I would say volatile, because he's probably going to rip on the other three. I'll probably try to reel him in. So...
You know how it can be. You know how it was last year. How was I last year?
He might rip on all four. He's going to actually rip on all four. So, this is the second to last. The last we're obviously going to do is the NFC South. And if you want to hear all the other ones, go back and like, subscribe, look at our downloads.
Please,
please. Let's start with the NFC East. Now, let's start with the team who I think is going to come to last place. It might be a surprise to everybody, and we might have to call your guys sooner rather than later.
Wait, alright. Do I need to be ready now?
I think they're going to be last place. Dude.
Holy fuck! Okay, go ahead.
They were last place last year.
I'm gonna let you explain then. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make yeah.
So, alright, the NFC East. Dallas Cowboys, if you guys did not understand what I was saying. So, they lost one of the better centers in the NFL. They lost him.
Okay, you're talking. Okay, I thought you were going. I did think you were going Washington football team.
Oh, no.
I thought I said, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
No, sir.
Like, come on.
No,
I even know they won't be
I thought you were going to call a Dallas Cowboys fan real quick. I was like,
I mean, I can, but that's not worth our time.
So,
That's not good air.
Let's talk about it.
It's not
so
good air.
last year, everybody wants to blame that because Dak Prescott wasn't there, blah, 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 everything went to shit. But even when Dak Prescott wasn't there,
And that was a big part of the reason, let's be honest.
Their
That was a big
defense-
part.
it was a big part, yes.
Yeah.
When you lose listen, to a guy who lost Big Ben and we went 8-8, if Big Ben was there, we'd probably be like 13-3. I could understand. No. But here's what I don't understand. Here's what I fucking don't understand. How do Cowboy fans always think they have a good team when their defense literally gives up the most points, most yards in passing, most yards in rushing in the entire league? It is not just Dak Prescott. It is not just Dak Prescott. You let go of Byron Jones thinking you could fix this defense through the draft. Diggs has been abysmal. Your safeties is nowhere to be seen. Your front seven, you paid Jalen Smith. You paid DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
You have
DeMarcus Lawrence. Yeah.
yes, Van Der Esch or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And you pay
Ron
all these
Van Der
guys.
Esch or something,
Yeah. You pay Leighton Van Der Esch.
Yeah.
You pay all these guys. The front seven is fine.
Yeah.
But everybody could throw the ball on you. Everyone. Ben at his worst threw the ball against them. Knees click-clacked. And he
Click-clack, get back!
threw it. So what do? They lost their offensive lineman. They lost all these different things. Zeke looks like a shell of himself. Dak is back. Whatever. They draft, and I said it. It is not Micah Parsons' fault. I think he's going to be a great player. I think he's going to be great for the Cowboys. It does not fix the fact of the passing. Micah, by the way.
My fault, Mike. I do apologize.
Sorry. There's two.
Got him. About to strike out. Be careful. 0-2 count.
Micah Parsons is going to be great as a linebacker wherever he plays. But that does not fix the defense's problem. His weakness in the scouting reports was coverage. They're not. Tight ends are going to go all over the field. They play the Falcons. Kyle Pitts might fucking burn them. So guess what, Joe? I put this team as 4-13. Fuck them. I'm sorry. Dak brings whatever to the table. He could be an MVP candidate. Blah blah blah. All this shit. Zeke, I don't know what to think of Zeke. Zeke might be done.
Zeke has, I got a fat contract syndrome.
Yes, and that's it. At the end of the day, that's it. Guess what? Dallas Cowboys, I'm sorry. This is your wake-up call. You're 4-13. You're back in the top 5, picking shit all day. You better pick a corner next year.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's a fucking mess now. And what's the record you got him at?
4-13.
4-13. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's second that on the same page, man. It's this team, and again, whatever, as always with me, just as when Nude's gonna talk about the Ravens, you guys are going to say, but I mean, it's just a pair. And I don't know how the Cowboys continue to justify themselves year after year. It's, again, not to bring up Scientology twice in this episode, but I certainly will. It's like how Scientologists continue to justify that, being a cult member in that, quote-unquote religion. And then what it is, it's exactly that. It's you guys keep marketing yourselves up, building yourselves up that you're going to be this and that. Your defense has barely changed on paper. You got Micah, and that is it. And Micah is the big salesmanship this year, right? He is the big marketing ploy this year. Well, we got Parsons, so everything is cozy, dandy, and fine. Hey, Newt.
Yep.
What position does he play again?
Line fucking backer.
Right, so that's not, as far as I understand how football works, since I've been watching it since a young little lad, they don't play in the secondary, correct, most of the time?
Nope, they cover tight ends, which tight ends sometimes burn those linebackers.
Okay, so to clarify, there is still nobody that is present on that staff that is part of the secondary, correct?
Correct.
There is nobody that is hot. There may be somebody on paper, but if you go actually down to that stadium and you go down to that practice facility, would we see anybody worth value?
Yes.
No, we would not see anybody worth value in that secondary because there is nobody in that secondary.
Here's the deal. We will see value in that secondary. In fantasy football.
Oh, and he comes back strong.
God.
Terrible bit of the week, and I loved every moment of it. Nice
you're
job,
wrong
dude.
twice.
And that terrible bit of the week in a fantastic way, my friend, my partner, my buddy, my pal. So here's what it is. I got this team at a glorious. You know what? 3-14. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Not gonna call my deep dive Cowboys fan. Fuck y'all. Hey.
Say it.
Fuck y'all.
There you go. So the next team I believe is going to be third in this division is the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm picking you guys to win. Just to let you know, spoiler alert, I'm picking you guys to win the division.
Okay. Cool. Me too.
So,
Me too.
why the Philadelphia Eagles third? We don't know what Jalen
I have a
is.
different team third, but I'll cover the Eagles next weekend.
Nah, I know you have third, and I kind of don't like it.
Why?
Because I'll tell you why the Eagles should be third.
Tell me about how the Eagles are right now.
So Jalen Smith, I mean, we don't know. The offensive line didn't get better. They lost like a lot of people in their secondary. They still have Darius Slay, fine, cool. They still have Fletcher Cox, very good. Both of them very good. Their defenses still have holes. The offensive line still has holes. Jalen Hurts is what the league is going to, running and passing, whatever. But, I mean, Devontae Smith is the only guy I kind of look at and I'm like, that's a good target.
Don't forget Joe Flacco's also on this roster still.
Quarterback competition. Dallas,
Damn right. I mean, not really. Joe's probably going to fucking slaughter him, but...
Yeah, Dallas
So that
Goedert.
means slice and slaughter him.
Dallas Goedert is good, so he could be another weapon. That's two weapons, and Miles Sanders is Miles Sanders. Fine. So, but in the grand scheme of things, you still have a lot of learning to do, a new coach, new everything, and everybody has their hot take on this coach. Listen, the rock, paper, scissors thing was obnoxious for him to say,
I enjoyed it.
but it is what it is. I just think this is a rebuilding team, and this team has a lot to do. They won their division last year, so they're going to have to play a first-place schedule. So I think they're going to go 6-12 or 6-11, and I mean, like, it's still going to be a learning process. They need to build some things. We'll see how Jalen is. This is all hinging on. I have no idea what they're going to be. I have no fucking idea. So as a person who has no fucking idea what they're going to be, 6-12 is kind of good. So.
Yeah, I mean, just like the rest of most of the NFL East, this team is a mess. There's not much to regard whatsoever, and if there is anybody still there, they are on the latter half of their career for sure, and that is being kind. Most of this team is gone, or at least the core foundation of this team is now gone. Shout out to Travis Fulgham from ODU. That's a big. I love that boy.
Fulgham definitely came onto the scene. So,
but I mean, besides that, there's not anything that's really exciting about this roster. Even Jalen and him, Jalen Reagor at least, and him are some exciting options. Jalen Hurts, yeah, it could be potentially exciting as well. He clearly had some confidence, and you know what? Clearly, probably would have beaten us in week 17. And to hopefully get in the playoffs, or likely would have gotten in the playoffs with everything that happened with the Giants. But the Giants would have gotten in the playoffs, excuse me. But anyway, so I do see this team getting at least scrap heaping by enough to still be in second place in the NFC East. I do see this team, they are a complete dumpster fire themselves. I see them stealing both the games against the Cowboys and the Giants. I do. I think they play against them really, really well. And then I'm adding 3 random wins on top of that. And that's why this team is going to be in second place at 7-10 for me.
So, okay, now we can talk about your third place team and my second place team.
Yeah.
The New York Football Giants. Now,
Yeah.
why do I have the New York Football Giants second?
Why do you? Please do answer.
So
Please
I
do
mean,
tell.
like you gotta see the grand scheme of things, right?
Okay.
The offensive line is good.
Uh-huh.
Saquon's back. He is arguably probably a top 3 running back when he's healthy. Their wide receiving core just got better.
That is an interesting fantasy conversation that we could bring up later as well. But
Well,
yeah.
we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So they still have good wide receivers. Sterling Shepard is not bad. They added Kenny Galladay. They added this Tunic wide receiver from Florida, who apparently Urban Meyer really liked.
Yep.
So I mean, there's weapons now, and they have. Oh, by the way, Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram.
It's not an easy schedule, dude.
The defense.
Not an easy schedule.
But the defense got way better too. They added Adoree Jackson.
Okay.
They got Leonard Williams last year.
Okay.
They have a good defense.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I have him second is because I know Daniel Jones more than I know Jalen Hurts. Daniel Jones showed flashes last year. Showed very good flashes. Now, is he going to be...
He's been showing flashes for the last 2 or 3 years.
Exactly my point.
And how
This
often
is
does
now this is...
Does a flash burn out, or does it not?
Bingo.
Right.
That's exactly why I have him second and not third, and why I don't have him first. Because Daniel Jones can make or break this team. Daniel Jones, if he plays well enough, this team could be 10 or 11 wins. Easily. If he sucks, which I have the team at, he could be kind of like a Mason Rudolph, kind of 7 and 8 wins, and call it a day. So that's where I have him. 7 wins. As of now, because I have no idea what Daniel Jones has, but he has everything he needs. Everything. Wide receivers are good, tight ends are good, offensive line is good, running backs are good. Defense will get off the field, give him the ball back.
Maybe.
7 wins. Market right now, if Daniel Jones is a piece of shit, they're drafting a quarterback next year. Done.
I'm looking, so defense is not, you're right. They definitely patched up a whole lot this year.
Yes.
And I agree with you, Leonard Williams last year's a great pickup. I like some of the underrated names here as well as Dexter Lawrence and at lefty end there, and then Logan Ryan as well at free safety. But real up and down, has his time. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. And a strong safety. I obviously love Adoree Jackson to death. I mean, I'm just not sold enough on the defense quite yet to where they are going to make damage. I'm not sold enough on that offense to where they don't have to worry about some of the inconsistencies in the defense. So, meaning, I understand Saquon's coming back. I also understand and you can tell me, yes, it's patched up, that offensive line. I'm not sold on that either, because I want to see how that offensive line kind of formulates together and how because that is crucial, especially, it's grossly underrated how well that offensive line chemistry needs to be.
Right.
And I think, yes, they picked up what's his name last year as well.
Leonard Williams.
Not Leonard Williams on the offensive line, not defensive line.
Nate Soldier.
Yeah, so they picked up some big old boys, and Andrew Thomas too. Andrew Thomas,
Will Hernandez, all these guys.
So can these guys stay healthy? If these guys can stay healthy, I see where you're coming from. For me, I'm not sold on the offense still. I don't know what Saquon's going to be. Saquon seems like he was heavily targeted when it seems like Saquon's game with that offensive line the way it was figured out completely. Now, I understand Saquon is Saquon, and he did not have an offensive line, and they knew what was coming. There's no quarterback. I understand. It's more of a prove it thing for me until you do with the Giants. You haven't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm giving the Giants just a win below what I had the Eagles at. Because it is very close. You're not right. It's very close. We both, I think, had them at 6 and 7 wins respectively, just split. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to have it at 6 and 11 as a Giants team.
So I think, so for me personally, and we'll revisit this later on the year, you're saying your question mark is Saquon?
No. I'm saying that offensive line and how they build together is my question.
Okay.
And then, in turn, that results in directly affects Saquon.
So I think no matter...
Which directly affects Daniel
We'll bring
Jones.
that back up, because
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe no matter who you put on that offensive line, I think Saquon is kind of like Adrian Peterson, where he can just do whatever he wants.
First 2 weeks last year.
Well, he got hurt. You can't,
Because that offensive line was dog shit.
He got open field. He got open field, tackled.
How did those first 2 games go?
He did fine. He played against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I hate to suck our own dick, but we were the only ones who stopped him for 100 yards in his entire career.
I understand. I understand, but that next following week where he did get injured and he only had a couple runs, it was people had figured pounce on it with the condition of that O-line.
It was a COVID year. Not everybody was ready. Come
Well,
on.
it's a prove it. It's a prove
Him
it.
and
Don't-
Christian McCaffrey.
It's a
This
prove
is
it.
why you have this conversation with everybody. Everybody wants to suck so many running backs as dicks. Wait until
Right.
Christian McCaffrey and Saquon come back. Then we can figure out who the best running backs. Because, like,
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
I'm good with that.
but my point.
Let's
now,
wait and see.
Now there's a team that everybody's overlooking again, which I have no fucking
What's
idea
new?
why. Washington
Like our
football
whole
team.
lives, baby.
Washington football team is winning this division with fucking ease, and I'm saying that easily. 10-11 wins. Why? Everybody's like, well, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick. If he didn't get benched, the Dolphins would have maybe won that division. We might have played the Dolphins in our first game if the Dolphins didn't have to do this crazy shit with Tua. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick brings the magic. He brings leadership. He brings stability to a team that, aka in the Washington football team, that has a really, really fucking good defense. And no matter what you look at,
Are you putting him? You finally put him in top 3?
I've always had them in the top 3. Well, you said during the season. So, like,
Do you have them on top 3 on paper right now? Just where we're at right now? Are they
right
top
now I say Rams, Steelers, them.
3? Okay.
Not in no particular order. I think those are the 3 best defenses. Until
Okay.
I say something. Until I see something else.
Okay.
So why do I have them top 3? That defensive line is unbelievable, unreal. They have, I think, Chase Young, who is the second coming of probably like Lawrence Taylor.
Suck him.
I don't know who. Like I really.
Oh, that's a big suck.
I like
Totally
Chase
doesn't
Young.
get that coach problem like we talked about
I
last
love
week.
Chase Young. Chase Young got doubled and triple teamed in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like you don't
And
get
still
that.
made a huge impact. The confidence, the leadership, the clearly culture changing identity and persona that he
Correct.
carries is something so fucking rare. It's gotta get you so fucking excited.
Correct.
It's something you see once in what, 20 years? We haven't seen him since maybe a Tom
Yes.
Brady. Like I genuinely mean that, and it's whatever you can call bias all you want, but I don't think there's anyone that would really disagree.
So now you're gonna. This is where I'm gonna lose you because I know
Okay.
I know what you and Jeff said when we talked about their draft. Jamie Collins is gonna be good. I didn't say great.
Okay.
I didn't say great. I didn't say anything. I think he's solid.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be fine. Why? Because Ron Rivera knows what to do with linebackers enough with Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis that he can do the same thing with him and whoever next to him. Now the offense.
Jamin Davis, by the way, I knew you got.
Jamie Davis.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then we have Ryan Fitzpatrick in the helm in front of a good offensive line. You guys might have the biggest steal in the draft with that Brown kid from UNC next to Terry McLaurin. You have
I love that. That was probably one of my favorite pickups.
exactly.
And the 3rd round, Diamond Brown
And
was
then you
awesome.
still have Gibson. You still have Antonio Gibson, who I believe could be in a top 15 conversation for running backs. He could elevate his game enough to be a poor man's Alvin Kamara. He could be great. I mean, like you.
I agree.
10 to 11 wins for this team. This team is built enough to win. If Ryan Fitzpatrick can take them, or if Ryan Patrick is just a little bit above average, this is a 10 and 11 win team.
Now, I agree with you. I think, obviously, I don't have to get too much into the defense. I'm going to bring somebody on here that will give us great length and detail. I'm going to actually probably have to cut him at a certain point knowing this guy. Love you, Zach, when you come on here in a moment. But this defense, clearly outstanding, clearly ahead of the pack, clearly completely culture changing with the acquisition of Chase Young. We've patched up a couple different holes. I love William Jackson's pickup this year in the offseason. It was fantastic. I'm a big William Jackson fan, very underrated corner. I think that this team is completely different in terms of where we are just as a locker room, obviously, than last year. I think that this team has a completely new mindset and outlook, despite Ken Snyder still being at the helmet, he needs to go. But back to that, folks. I think this offense, I said on air, and I say to you off air, dude, and I said it to all my Washington football team, named to be determined later date, but probably not friends, fans, is that this team, I was not excited about the Ryan Fitzpatrick move. I don't think it's something that makes you jump. I get it. Yes, he can say this, he can carry us. I still kind of maybe wanted to see somebody pick up in the late rounds of the draft, honestly. It kind of, nobody thought of him, guy. QB, and I understand, everybody's really weary about that, and have a battle out with Heineke. Call me fucking crazy, but I think that is something that that could have showed a true potential. I think one of those guys, maybe we could have found out could have been a guy. Now, that still could also be the case in Heineke. I think it's going to be a good year. I think Fitzpatrick can do enough to at least patch this offense together, and their defense is good enough to where that's all we really need, because we do have those weapons, as you mentioned, Scary Terry and Antonio, and I think that there's a lot of other young guys that are up and coming that you should also be very, very afraid of. I'm not a big fan of the Jamin Davis move. As I've mentioned already, I just don't think that was the right move to pick up. We had some stout offensive tackles that we could have gotten. I mean, I do like the guy that we got out of Texas, and Samuel Cosme. That's great, but I just think there was better moves in the first 2 rounds for us. I think we should have flipped it and reversed it, got one of the beast offensive tackles in the first round, and then went ahead and got another beast linebacker and Yoke, which we did not. So, with that being said, I do want to bring, I think I got this team, Washington football team name to be determined later date, but probably not. I do have them at a 10-7 as well.
Well, yeah,
I think that's a good thing. But I want to go ahead and I'm going to kind of preface this to them as well as, and we are doing our deep dive fan segment for the first time, and we're going to have some of our closest deep dive friends on here. Let's see if he picks up first new. Did you speaker it? Is that how we do this?
Yeah, put it on speaker and put it next to the mic.
Okay. And then we'll see if he answers, and if he does, can we get him to shut up?
If he doesn't answer, it's cool.
Can we get him to shut up if he picks up? That is the question of the day. Hey. Just want everybody to hear that real quick.
We will get him next time. We'll get the Night Football take next time because
yeah, we'll go ahead and have him on next time for sure.
Because guess what?
But I don't want to give him any warning either, so I'm not even going to tell him unless he calls.
That just proves my friends like me better than his friends like him. Second,
shows what kind of friend I am.
Oh. So Joe brought an argument.
I brought something today, baby.
That might be
completely derail the segment you intended to do because you nutted early. You nutted early.
No.
You nutted early.
Because here's the deal.
You nut early.
You
get excited.
No, people have hobbies.
You start doing fantasy dress in February.
People have hobbies. Do you have a hobby? What's your hobby?
I have plenty of hobbies.
What's your hobby?
I still play Pokemon sometimes.
Okay, there's your hobby. People collect coins. People collect stamps. People do stupid shit. I do fantasy football. That is my hobby.
And February. Have you done a mock draft in February?
No, because they don't open. They don't.
Because they don't open.
March is when they usually start. Now, due to a lot of factors in my life, I have not done as many mock drafts as I normally do.
Everybody is disappointed.
I've done maybe like 6.
I'm extremely disappointed.
But it will wrap up.
That is actually particularly low for you.
I think it's because I have the dog, I gotta walk it, I have working from home doesn't really help, like all this shit, and like I watch like Miami Heat is in the playoffs, so that takes up most of my time, so I'm watching that. But here's my deal. Do
you think the fact that you, and I've asked you this before, but I want to propose it in a new way, the fact that you get so into it, and that you do so many, that maybe you're a victim, and everybody's a victim of this from time to time, to a little overthinking, and that's why you haven't won a championship in what, 5 years?
So
6 years?
You're thinking about,
a decade?
You're saying one league. You're thinking about one fucking league. Out of the 9 that I do.
Okay, so you just play the odds, right? At the end of the day, you play the odds to get
How's it odds? So okay, let me tell you, what do I deem successful of a fantasy football league? Of like my year of fantasy
Real
football.
quick, by the way, this is our debate segment.
So here's what I deem
How
successful.
early should you begin talking about fantasy football?
Here's the deem successful of my fantasy football arc. If I get 6 teams into the playoffs out of those 9, which I normally do, then I feel fine. If I win a championship out of it, fine. Which I did in the past 5 years, which you were alluded to.
How many championships have you won in those 9 leagues in the past?
So some of them are fresh, so I can't lie. The one that I do the longest, obviously you know, with Jeff and all that.
Yeah.
I've won 1, which is good because only 4 other people have won it.
Which is fucking its own thing. But
Yeah.
Anyway, that's its own conversation.
Let's see here. My fraternity won. I guess you could call that the second longest.
Okay.
I haven't won any there, but I have made the playoffs multiple times.
Okay.
Which is fine. My cousin's league, which I was in it. I'm only in it for 5 years and I already won 1. That's pretty good. Dynasty.
I'm saying you're playing the odds. If you're in 9 leagues, you're gonna win a league.
Well, you're just telling me I'm not winning a league, so what do you want me to do
So
here?
let's bust down and let's focus on, let's say, just that one league that you have not won in
This
over
is
6
not
years.
the argument, by the way.
It's
This
not,
is
it's
not
not.
the argument.
It's not.
But you're.
I'm just trying to tell you, maybe
Here's my deal.
Do you think if you started doing drafts, mock drafts in August, like most people, or in maybe late
Because there's a
July,
strategy. There's a fucking strategy.
that maybe you'd win some more championships?
There's a strategy. In all.
Maybe the odds would be more.
It's still gambling at the end of the day. I could practice poker all I fucking want and blackjack, but I'm gonna go to the casino and still get the fucking cards that I'm gonna get.
Right. So why do you need to do all that prep for blackjack in March?
Okay, here's the deal, Joey.
You're arguing against yourself.
You're
arguing against
if
yourself.
I have pick 8, right?
Yeah.
If I have pick 8 in the draft, just say I want to know what happens if this happens, like this scenario happens. If this scenario happens, where do I want to go? Do I want a backup plan just in case if my pick is gone? I want to know all the scenarios I can get into just in case shit happens. So I'm not sitting there with 2 minutes on the clock going, oh fuck, where am I gonna go? That's what I'm trying to say. It's still in the God's hands. I can do as much prep as I want. Anybody can do as much prep as they want. At the end of the day, it's fucking pure luck.
Whoever your god may be, it could also be Zeno if you do practice in Scientology.
Or if you
Zeno is coming down to
or
raise
if you're
you,
Joey,
or
if you're Joey, it's some Mormon shit.
well, outside, I'm like an outsider Mormon where I just wish to be more like them.
Jesus.
Because I certainly don't qualify as a Mormon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like think about it last year. People drafted Saquon Barkley second or third, lost. Christian McCaffrey lost.
Sure.
I mean,
What did you project that maybe you shouldn't draft those guys? Like,
I didn't have the chance.
Okay.
So
you are prepped if you got to.
but okay, let me ask you a question. If you were the first overall pick last year, you're picking Christian McCaffrey. Yes or no?
Yeah.
You lost him. Now you're fucked. So
I did have the first overall pick, and I did lose him.
Exactly. So there's no rhyme or reason.
I still worked my way in the playoffs. I believe I should get some love for that. But
I mean, it's great. I mean, the guy who got Saquon.
Thank you.
Well,
thanks.
So we have a huge Giants fan in that league you're alluding to. Pick Saquon over McCaffrey, but both players, first and second picks, lost. So,
we have a huge Giant fan
and
in my league as well. Yeah.
And they both didn't make the playoffs. Now look at me. All right, you do the waiver wire stuff. You do all this stuff enough to overcome stupid shit, aka DJ Moore was garbage.
See, here it is. You're still arguing against yourself.
No, but let me finish. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good enough, but shouldn't have been my first round pick. I made trades that helped me, and I got James Robinson in the waiver wire.
If I had not done any of that, like what I'm trying to say is, would you have done that still if you didn't do mock draft starting in March? Yes, you would have.
What if I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
You still would have made the same moves. Like what I'm trying to tell you is,
because at that point.
No.
So think about it this way: if let's say I have a pick between.
By the way, totally not the argument we intended to have.
But you're arguing that I'm doing it too early, and I'm not doing it too early.
You're nutting too early.
I am not.
I am a larger argument.
I am preparing for certain things. I am preparing for certain situations. So it's case in point. Say something. Okay, very good point. The year I went fucking bananas. I went fucking nuts on this team.
Okay.
My 3 best picks were not even in the first 3 rounds. They were my last 3 picks. You know what those 3 picks were? It was the year Patrick Mahomes became MVP, George Kittle became on the scene, and Aaron Jones was suspended due to a PED situation.
That was the year where you would look like the man, though. If you could, because those were kind of the 2 little canaries in the coal mine that you found.
Exactly.
That year.
Because I was the biggest
fantasy
and everybody's gonna be sick by this because I was the biggest Patrick Mahomes believer even before he was drafted by the Chiefs. I was like, no matter where this fucker goes, he's gonna be good. Thank God it was the Chiefs because I don't know about anything else. But George Kittle was a pick that I happened to hit on, and Aaron Jones I picked because I'm like, who else do they have at running back? They need somebody who's going to be good at running back. I had to wait 2 games, but I had Zeke. Zeke was pretty good. Julian Edelman was pretty good. Marlon Mack was the year Zeke did good.
I would say Zeke was not Zeke good standards this past year at all.
No. But this was the year that I got those.
Okay,
guys.
the first okay.
So my end of this whole argument is, it doesn't matter when you fucking prepare. I like preparing early. I like doing it. The mock draft thing is my hobby. Listening to podcasts about fantasy football is my hobby. I like listening to that shit. I love learning the nuances of fantasy football.
Not only Pokemon, but I also like to listen to Comedy Bang Bang and the Improvised Podcast, which you should definitely listen to.
Bingo, that's your hobby.
On Spotify, on Stitcher, go find it.
It's not overthinking. It's more so like I'm preparing.
Free plug for Comedy Bang Bang.
For all that shit. Plus,
I understand what you're saying.
Plus, I do different drafts. I do standard drafts, I do auction drafts, and I do dynasty draft, which is all rookies. So you have to make sure you know all that shit too.
You first seem a little defensive, is what I want to come
I'm
up
just
with.
because a lot of people say this shit, and I'm just.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, I had the argument ready to
I'm
go.
I'm over it.
Yeah. Listen, it's a hobby, okay? And you don't hate on
People
somebody
do
for their
cocaine
hobby.
all the fucking time, yet everybody has an opinion of me doing
People
fantasy
collect
hockey.
postal stamps. Yeah, I said there's weird hobbies
Look,
out there.
my hobby is fucking jerking off every 5 fucking seconds. Yet let's make fun of Michael about doing mock drafts. At least I'm fucking keeping my fucking mind busy.
There's also side effects to every hobby. For example, when you listen to Comedy Bang Bang, you forget how to have a serious conversation after a while, right? You just divulge into nonsense. When you play Pokemon as a hobby, you know, you tend to...
Shut the fuck up.
When you overthink
I'm just gonna tell you.
and do mock drafts
I'm gonna tell
and
you
fantasy football, you
Do
might
not
not win championships.
Yet I do. That's what I'm saying. It might not be because you only see one of them. Because Jeff talks about it all the time.
How's Hunter I would love to know how Hunter Lipsky, who has won the most championships, sorry to name drop there, we can edit that out and just make it Hunter if need be, but how is Hunter, he's won the most in that league, correct?
As of now, yes.
I would love to know his strategy because I guarantee you he's not doing mock drafts until July.
That's fine. I don't care. Again, it's a luck of the hat kind of thing. You could draft do all you want. Again, if Hunter got people injured all the fucking time, then shit would happen. Alright? Plus, I also live by a very good point that might be hindering me from a lot of good players, but I will never, ever, 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 ever do, and I will keep this rule. I will not draft a Raven, Brown, or a Bengal, aka Lamar, aka Nick Chubb, OBJ, like some good players.
That
So,
has definitely fucked you up, yeah.
I could have picked Nick Chubb.
I drafted Zeke and plenty drafts and Saquon.
That's fine. That's your opinion. I just can't root for them. I want Lamar Jackson to get fucking.
You definitely will get
killed.
from Steelers fans or from Washington football team.
And sometimes I don't even want to.
You're not a real fan. You will get that shit for sure.
I don't want to even draft Steelers sometimes because I don't want that extra fucking blood pressure.
Yeah. So you know what? You lost that first one. That was just kind of a side debate to the central debate.
No, dude. How did I lose that one?
For having a respect, trying to make your overthinking.
It's
as
not
a hobby.
overthinking.
You're
How's that
trying to get
overthinking?
You're
overthinking.
your
right now.
obsession.
No,
You're trying to get
stop.
your obsession.
Overthinking. It
Your
was
unhealthy obsession.
when you were like, oh, after Christian McCaffrey, what do I fucking do? And you were telling me about Lamar Jackson and all this shit.
Did I or did I not make it into the playoffs with losing my first two draft picks?
What do I deem successful?
First 2 round draft
What
picks.
do I deem successful? 6 out of 9 teams going to the playoffs?
The main question was, when should you start talking about fantasy
Whatever the
football?
fuck you want. I think it's a fucking open debate. Like, again, it's a hobby. It's not like I'm doing it because I'm like overthinking about shit. I just sometimes
Some may
draft
call
draft.
that an unhealthy obsession.
Exactly. I sometimes draft just to draft. I like seeing where players go. I like to see what's going down. Like, let me hear what you think about
In the middle of June.
I like doing it. What?
I really wish this other guy calls back. You guys are very similar in that one.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's just like a fucking hobby. That's it. Some people like fucking looking at cars, building cars. Some people do DIY shit. Like, I like doing mock drafts because I like seeing shit happen. It's adrenaline shit with me. So you thinking it's overthinking
At least
is
your
bullshit.
adrenaline is not cocaine. And
There
that
you
is
go.
the moral of this debate. That is the main lesson of this debate.
This debate wasn't even a debate. It was more so of like him trying to
Me attacking you.
attacking me. But all at the end of the day, it was just, it's all for fun. I don't give a fuck.
Right, yeah, no, sure. You don't care at all.
I have a lot of trophies. I'm good.
You don't care a bit.
I have trophies.
It's been a while, but yeah.
In one league! Stop doing this shit.
I mean, it's really the only league that matters.
First of all, I've been in a league for 3 years, won it twice, so I want to hear that.
I guarantee you I would go in that league this year and win.
Come on in.
I am in
Be
this
my
year.
fucking guest.
No, what league is that? Is
Be
that
my
Iceberg's
guest.
league or something?
This is another league from school, but 100%.
I'm in. I'm in.
You would not.
I'm in, and I'm winning. Side bet, I'm winning this league $50 right
You
now.
have to talk to the commissioner. I don't know if we like riffraff in here. But anyways, that is our show.
How dare you insult Riff Raff? That is a great man.
That is our
That's
show.
a great man and a great rapper.
This is Face of the Franchise, and we shout out our sponsors every day. So let's start off with.
Well, every show.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Stuck Up Clothing. Finest fashion money can buy. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. StuckUpClothing.com. Look out for their newest wear that's coming out soon.
New drops coming.
As well as Eyesight Mobile Eyewear Company. The eye company that comes to you. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. They have new lines of their sunglasses as well as their prescription glasses. And Seductress by Jax.
You got it, baby. You got it. Proud of you.
You need your hair did, you need your nail did, you need an eyelash did, you go to her.
Feels a racial stereotype there, but
Isn't it did? You say did anyways.
done. Did, done, did. I'm just trying
Follow
to
her on
cancel you. I'm trying
Instagram,
to cancel
Facebook,
you.
and Twitter.
I had to get revenge for the Mormon
Honestly,
stuff.
she will take. She'll make sure to put you on her book. She is very good. She is very fast in what she does.
Whatever you need, male or female, she's got you, and you will be getting laid that night. If it's a date, you will be looking better for the weather. You're welcome.
As well as smoothmyballs.com.
Smooth 'em!
Use 4CR20. Get 20% off your next purchase. That's 4, number 4, CR, the number 20. And this is Pharaoh. That's Little Joe. Stay breezy. Stay easy. One love.
Aha! That was a fun show.